The protest against a new citizenship law in northeast India for the past 5 days has turned intense and more violent, recently claiming the lives of 6 people so far. Meanwhile, the authorities have maintained internet bans and curfews in some regions in a bid to contain the escalating violence. Good morning, I'm Amit Makril and these are the top stories this hour. Ruling Nepal Communist Party rejects controversial border map released by India. Dispute within Nepali Congress continues on holding the party's 14th General Convention. Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport fails to submit details of contractors despite Prime Minister's directive. Ministry's indifference affects overall development works. Police clashed with demonstrators in parts of Indian capital Delhi during protest over a controversial new law on migrants. Death toll climbs to 6. And Manchester City chalks out an emphatic victory over Arsenal in the English Premier League. Kevin De Bruyne stars with a brace. The ruling Nepal Communist Party has stressed on retrieving the encroached lands at Limbiathura region occupied by India. In the political report presented by Executive Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal at the Standing Committee meeting, the party rejected the recently released political map by India. Executive Chairman Dahal, while presenting the report in the Standing Committee meeting that was held after a year, proposed to retrieve the encroached land and to reject the Indian political map, which included Nepal's Kalapani, Lipulekh and Limbiathura regions. Dahal stressed on removing the security force and camps posted by Indian government in the region. Likewise, Dahal has proposed to convene the General Convention of the party within 16 months. The report has also tried to analyze the party's defeat in the recently held by-election. Meanwhile, Chairman and Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli did not attend the Standing Committee meeting held at the party's central office, Tumparhai, on health grounds. However, he showed up for a few minutes in the Secretariat meeting of the party held at the Prime Minister's official residence at Balwatar. During the Standing Committee meeting, Co-Chairman Dahal expressed self-criticism for the delay in calling the meeting and reiterated that the party would convene the meetings as per the statute of the party. The faction affiliated to senior leader Ramchandra Paudel of the main opposition Nepali Congress yet again boycotted the party's Central Committee meeting yesterday as well. The meeting, which took place despite the Paudel faction boycotting it, ended without entering the agenda and has been postponed until today. The anti-establishment faction boycotted the meeting, alleging the leadership of not exhibiting flexibility on holding the party's 14th General Convention. The party president, Sher Bahadur Deuba, started the meeting 2 hours behind the scheduled time after failing to convince the Paudel faction to take part in the meeting. The meeting, however, ended without entering the agenda of the establishment of the party's departments, extension of the tenure of its sister organizations, and formation of an ad hoc committee. In Thursday's Central Committee meeting, Deuba had proposed for the establishment of 41 departments. After Paudel boycotted Thursday's meeting, citing differences, Deuba went on to Paudel's residence to Saturday to convince him, seeking his support. The committee formed to resolve disputes within the party has not been able to do anything in this regard earlier. After failing to reach an agreement, Paudel boycotted the meeting and has gone on a religious outing at Patipara. Chairman of the Film Development Board, Kesav Bhattrai, passed away at the age of 52 at around 10:30 p.m. last night. The cause of his death is yet to be confirmed, but the family sources have said that they were trying to take Bhattrai to hospital after he complained of some pain. Bhattrai was working as the chairman of the Film Development Board since last year and was active in the field of Nepalese film industry for over 3 decades. Speaking at the first quarterly meeting of the current fiscal year, Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli had directed the concerned ministry to submit the overall details of the contractors involved in development works to the Prime Minister's office. However, even after 2 months of the directive, the Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport has not provided any details. We have a report.
Even the National Planning Commission has raised questions against the ministry, citing that development projects have been stranded for years due to the tendency of granting contracts to ineligible contractors. The current government boasts 2/3 majority, while it has also been a year since the conclusion of the staff integration process at both provincial and local levels. whereas the government capital expenditure could not exceed a meager 6% in the first quarter of the current fiscal year. The very issue became the cause of concern for Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli in the first quarterly meeting. As a result, the Premier directed the Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport, which is responsible for undergoing capital expenses and development projects, to submit comprehensive details of all development works and their contractors within 3 weeks. The purpose was to determine the actual capabilities of the contractor companies, the nature of their contracts, and evaluation of previous projects failing to meet their targets within the set deadlines. However, the concerned ministry itself has found to have no such statistics in this regard. National Planning Commission has been repeatedly raising questions against the ministry regarding the ongoing trend of granting contracts to the contractors who have been found to have produced dismal quality works in the past. Analysts are of the view that the government should put forth concrete measures to stop such a practice having direct negative impact on the national development.
In our Public Voice segment, we asked the residents of Songkhla Sabha district what should be done in order to stop increasing commercialization in the education sector. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
नेपाल सरकारले यस्तो विधि बनाउनु पर्यो जुन विधि अन्तर्गत विद्यालयहरू चाहिँ सञ्चालन हुन सकुन् र त्यो विधि बनाएर त्यो विधि भित्र ल्याउँदाखेरि मलाई के लाग्छ भने आफैमा समस्या समाधान हुन्छ किनभने अहिले भनेको के हो भने विधिको शासन हो त्यसकारणले गर्दाखेरि यो विधिलाई सबैले मान्नुपर्छ
शिक्षा आफैमा सेवामूलक व्यवसाय हो र राज्यको नीति नियमबाट कुनै विद्यालय अथवा कुनै संस्थाले व्यापार गरेको हो भन्ने ठहर भएको छ भने त्यसलाई राज्यद्वारा नियन्त्रण गरिनुपर्छ
त्यस्तो किसिमको यदि देखिन्छ भने त्यसमा न्यून गर्न सक्नुपर्छ र त्यसको फ्यासिलिटिजहरु हुन्छ त्यो फ्यासिलिटिजहरुको आधारमा त्यहाँ न्यून शुल्क लिएर चलाउनु पर्छ अनि मात्रै त्यो सफल हुन्छ
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what's your take on poultry entrepreneurs halting the production of chicks? And options are A. Impact of syndicate, B. To increase price, and C. Unable to bear the loss. The voting for the question is on. Type NAWS, select your option A, B, or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us.
During the time of Rana regime, people entering capital Kathmandu from the country's Tarai region had to wade through Bhimfedi and over Chitlang Chandragiri mountain to reach the valley. The opening of Tribhuvan Highway in 1956 put the Chitlang region in hibernation for quite a long time. However, in recent activities, Chitlang is abuzz with tourist activities to the delight of the local residents. There was a time when the luxurious cars bought by members of Rana clan from India were brought to Kathmandu Valley using the Chitlang route. Devotees coming from India to pay a visit to Lord Pashupatinath used to take the same route as well. Likewise, all the daily essential items were brought from India using the same route before the opening of Hetauda Kathmandu ropeway. However, after Tribhuvan Highway came into operation, the main transit to Kathmandu from Tarai was completely overshadowed. With efforts to develop Bhakwanpur's northern region.
And that's all for this hour. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Have a good day.